Hello, everybody. Obviously, if you're getting this, I already told you guys I'm not going to be here today. So overall, pretty easy day to kind of walk you through a little bit yesterday on what we're doing. So kind of here's what we're going to do. All right, so in Google Classroom, obviously, you're watching this video, no big deal. But ultimately, all the materials that you're going to need for today are all in this Wednesday's post here. And it pretty much spells it out. So I'm going to walk you guys through the notes. You're going to fill this into your guided notes. Now, today's topic is going to be crime vocabulary 2, some of the big, heavy hitter types of crimes. But specifically, we're going to talk a lot about the different classifications of murder and homicide. So after you're done with the notes, you're going to apply those terms that we talked about, first-degree murder, second-degree murder, voluntary manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter, and you're going to work on this homicide scenarios Google Doc. You're going to read through the scenarios, and you're going to answer them appropriately with the proper classification of homicide. And then I know we did this yesterday on Tuesday. I give you guys a homicide vocabulary term. So you guys should all have one. So what you're going to do is you're going to find a current event, something that's again. It doesn't have to be yesterday, but something that happened in the past, we'll say the past year or two, we'll say, that applies to the crime that you picked. So you're going to open up in this Google Doc slide. Again, I'm just walking through it before the vocabulary. Find a crime in the news. So again, I already did this yesterday. Then what you're going to do is step 2 is you're going to research a recent real life crime that occurred on your assigned crime that you picked from the hat. Provide the following: when did the crime occur? Suspect and victim. Link to the article. Where did the crime occur? Where is the case? The court system. So is the court system? Did they already rule on the case? Is it still in the court process? What did the prosecutor? What are they charging them with? And then ultimately, if applicable, if there's any evidence that shows that the suspect or suspects did the crime, what does the prosecutor have? And then what are the years that the defendants face in jail? So what you're going to do is essentially, after you research that, you're going to add slides to this presentation with all the things that I highlighted here, with the who's, the what's, all the things I just went over, the questions. I don't necessarily have a limit on how many slides you need. That's going to be on you and how you want to organize it. But again, you don't want to don't pack things into one slide. Space them out so it's easy to read and easy to follow. All right, so that's what you're going to do after everything's done. And you'll have some time tomorrow to work on it as well. But you could at least maybe find the current event today. And ultimately on Friday we're going to start presenting these to the class. Kind of what you have and all that good stuff. All right, so without further ado, in your guys' guided notes, we're going to go through this together. So we should be on Crime Vocab 2 on the last page, I believe. All right, so again, some of the big crimes, we have stalking. That's, again, kind of speaks for itself. I think you guys already kind of know what that is. But it's the act of following or harassing somebody, causing natural fear for their well-being. So you see this a lot in celebrity cases. More so, you might see a lot of jealous ex-husbands or ex-wives that do this as well, where you might need to get a restraining order against that person. So again, naturally, it kind of speaks for itself here in terms of what stalking is. But the key thing, in order to convict somebody of stalking, you need to show that this person is harassing you, or you have natural, fear for your well-being. All right, now this is something that gets thrown around a lot. Really, these two things. It's very important, really, for you guys to distinguish the difference between battery and assault. Battery is the physical contact that is inflicted with one person by another without their consent. So a punch in the face causes pain. You'd be charged with battery. So it has to be a contact, an intentional act, an unlawful physical contact. So example of this, I don't know if you guys saw this in the news this morning. Alvin Kamara, the running back of the New Orleans Saints, he was in Las Vegas for the Pro Bowl. he is being charged with battery. He was at some kind of nightclub, got into a fight, and the Las Vegas Police Department prosecutor is charging him with battery for, again, some kind of fight, intentional, unlawful physical contact that gets hurt somebody really bad. So battery is a contact. Assault is a threat of physical harm. So it's maybe a show of force. It causes a reasonable person to fear that physical contact is imminent. So for instance, if you swing and miss towards somebody, so say I'm at you and I'm squaring up with you and I swing at you and I miss. Okay, I didn't make contact, so I wouldn't be charged with battery, but I could be charged with assault. Pointing a gun at somebody, I didn't shoot it, but I'm showing that threat. That would be assault. Threatening to hit somebody, and you're showing a force or that. Spitting on somebody, you could be charged with assault for spitting on somebody. So then that's the threat. The threat that physical violence is imminent. So again, that's the difference. Battery is the physical contact, unlawful contact. It's intentional. Assault would be the threat. It could be like a chest bump, that kind of thing. Could be more of like assault. Like I said, a swing and a miss, things of that nature. All right, now again, other types of crimes. Arson. This is the deliberate and malicious burning of property. So when somebody goes to, it could be a house, it could be a place of business, whatever the case might be. You set something on fire. You are deliberate about it. You are malicious. You intentionally tried to cause this harm to property. That would be arson. So this is why all fires, you have people that go into, whether it's a house fire or you go into a business, there are investigators who investigate what the cause of the fire was. What they look for is like accelerants and chemicals. Were chemicals used to excel the fire? Or they see it wasn't an accident, wasn't electrical. So in order to be charged with arson, it needs to be a deliberate and malicious act that you intentionally try to burn property. Vandalism, again, similar thing, but not fire. This is the deliberate destruction or defacement of property. So you see this a lot, like spray paint, or you cause some kind of damage to property on purpose. That's malicious. So that would be vandalism. Motive. Motive is not really a crime, but it's something that but it's important to understand in terms of if you're an investigator. In terms of your investigation, when you're narrowing down suspects, you want to look for people that might have a reason to commit a crime. So, for instance, in a murder, the person that was killed, what are some people in their past that maybe made them mad? It might, give investigators at least a clue in terms of, narrowing down suspects. So, again, a motive is a reason a person commits a crime. You might owe somebody money. You might have been wronged in the past. Your husband or wife cheated on you, whatever the case might be. So again, motive is a reason for why you commit a crime. And those could vary over a wide range of factors there. All right, now burglary. Now again, this is something that's different. Burglary, robbery. Burglary is breaking and entering a building with the intention to steal. When you go into a house, when you go into a home, when you go into a business, and your intention is to steal, that would be burglary. Larceny is just another word for steal, so we'll kind of skip past that. Now, robbery. What makes robbery different from burglary? Yes, you're taking something from somebody, but you're using force or intimidation. So maybe you're using a gun, maybe you're using a weapon, maybe you beat somebody up. Maybe you push somebody to the ground. You take something and you push somebody to the ground. But you use some kind of force or intimidation to take something. Whereas in burglary, again, you're just kind of just breaking and entering. There's not really you're not really confronted with a situation where you're having to fight or intimidate somebody. So that's the difference between burglary and robbery. All right, now extortion. Extortion is something where you take property illegally by threat. So essentially it's like blackmailing somebody. Like, give me this, give me $10,000. Oops, I'm sorry, my bad. Give me $10,000 or I'll show a video of whatever. So you're extorting somebody, you're blackmailing them. Like, give me this, give me money, or else I'm going to hurt you somehow with something that I have. So that's extortion. Embezzlement. This is the taking of money or property by a person that is entrusted with it. So you might see this a lot in like investment cases where you might give money to your investment guy who does like your 401ks, investment properties. You know, they take money from you. So you get this a lot in stocks or white collar crime, but you also get it within within friends or families too, where somebody who might be old, who might have like Alzheimer's, for instance, you might trick them into signing, I don't know, a will to where now you become the beneficiary of somebody's estate and financial gain. So that could also kind of be, in regard to that as well. All right, now we're going to go into the homicide classifications. Now, homicide is what that means. It's the killing of another person. Okay, now there's different classifications of that. So voluntary manslaughter is where it's a killing of a person without malice. So malice means like, ill intention, like you purposely, or you intended to commit the crime with hate. So voluntary manslaughter is a killing of a person without malice. Or, this is also important, you did not intend to kill the person. So you didn't go into a situation intending to kill anybody. It just happened through an act. So it's an act during the heat of the passion where a person became emotionally disturbed. So you didn't go into the day saying, hey, I'm going to kill X, Y, and Z. You went to a situation, things escalated, and the act happened accordingly. So that would be voluntary manslaughter. So this might be something you might get in like drunk driving cases, things of that nature. Involuntary manslaughter. Now this is the unintentional killing that results from recklessness. So kind of going back to voluntary manslaughter really quick, because this is a good example. So let's say, for instance, I go home and I'm catching my wife cheating on me. Okay, I didn't go in the day wanting to kill anybody, but I saw the act happen. I'm emotionally disturbed. I'm upset. I'm ticked off. One thing leads to another, and I push my wife, and she hits her head, and she dies. Okay, that would be voluntary manslaughter. Now, involuntary manslaughter it's an unintentional killing that results from recklessness. So again, you didn't intend to kill anybody. That wasn't your intention. It was an accident. Again, accidents, you're still responsible. So again, this could also be, maybe driving recklessly. Could also fall into that category as well. Now, first-degree murder. Now, what makes this different from voluntary manslaughter? First-degree murder is the highest that you can really get. This is where you plan in advance, and it's done with malice. It's premeditated. You purposely kill. You plan to kill. You went into a situation knowing that you were going to kill somebody. It was planned and organized. That's first degree. Second degree is an intentional killing done with malice but is not planned. So you meant to kill somebody, you meant to cause harm, but you didn't plan it out. You didn't go into the situation knowing what you were going to do. But it was heinous. It was a heinous act. You intended to kill somebody. So like going back to my example with my wife. Okay, if I hit my wife or if I push her and she hits her head, I didn't intend that to happen. But if I actually take an object and I start bludgeoning, boom, that's intentional. I meant to call like a knife or a gun. Boom, that would be second degree. All right, now going into the vehicle crimes. Now, this is going to be it, guys. It's the last slide, so I'm sorry if this is going to run off. But vehicular homicide is where you cause someone's death by driving negligently or speeding in a construction zone. So it's not intentional. Here's the fines you can get. Aggravated vehicular homicide is causes someone's death with an awareness of their dangerous actions but did not care of the outcome. So DUI is a prime example of that. So this is a second-degree felony, 2 to 8 years. And vehicular manslaughter is unintentionally causing death of another person while committing misdemeanor traffic violation. So you're speeding and you run red lights and you hit somebody. Again, you didn't intend to kill somebody, but you'd still be punished for that. All right, so go back into Google Classroom, do the homicide scenario, Google Doc, and then so you can start working on your current event. All right, thanks, guys. Hope you have a good one.